Hello and welcome back to Near Dark Podcast, episode 90. Today we're gonna take a look at Tusk from 2014. And with me, I have a whole crew of walruses.
Hell yeah.
Gee, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, I have Zombie and Josef. How are you guys doing?
Hello.
Besides dying in the heat, I'm alright.
Very much same. Tired and also sweating a fuck ton.
Yeah, walruses doesn't do very well in heat. So that's probably why.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that would explain a few things.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we got a heat wave here in Sweden at the moment, so yeah.
Yeah. It's about 30 degrees over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Celsius.
And for Swedes, that is very hot. Considering we have 8 months of winter.
Yeah. And it's very humid as well, so
Yeah,
just
it's...
makes it even worse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Ogge? How are you doing?
I'm the same. I'm doing well, but sweating.
Yeah, this is one sweaty episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, we
Yeah,
should welcome Ogge back to the podcast, Zombie. Since he's been on a hiatus for a couple of episodes. When was the last episode you were on, Ogge? Was it the Leprechaun episode or?
Yeah. That's probably why I left.
Oh, you needed a couple of episodes to recover from that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Man. That's one powerful movie.
It has to be the worst franchise ever made, in my opinion.
Well, it's certainly up there for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It's the first movie, like we already said about 1,500 times. The first movie is good. It's genuinely good. The sequels, well, no, they're not.
Like, the first one is good, if a bit silly. And the other ones just goes downhill.
Yeah, and it goes downhill fast.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Dear God. Do you guys have any recently seen?
Yes. After we recorded the last episode, which was
Last week, right?
yeah, the Stepfather remake. Jesus Christ, I can't even remember what episodes we've done. Me and Blue forgot to mention that we went to the cinema and watched the new Jurassic World movie, Jurassic World Dominion.
Oh, right.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I saw it too.
Yeah, well, it basically has gotten panned by both critics and keyboard warriors out there. People are complaining about it being a big, fluffy, stupid, ridiculous cash cow type of film. But both me and Blue enjoyed it. It's a summer blockbuster. So I really don't understand why people are panning it. It's supposed to be a money-making machine, nothing else.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's it got a lot of subplots and stuff in it. So if you don't pay attention for like 2 minutes, you're gonna miss out on what the movie is about. But it's fairly action-packed, and it basically flew by without any bigger issues, in my opinion. I really enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed it more than Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
Wow.
Is it as good as the original Jurassic Park? No, it's not. But none of the sequels are. So I mean, it's sort of like with the Predator. When that movie was released, people were complaining about it not being like the original. Well, it's the fourth movie in the franchise, so I mean they have to do something new. They can't just do the same fucking thing over and over and over again. Well, they could in Friday the 13th and the biggest slasher franchises, of course. But I mean, if you want to see the original, go and see the original then, and stop complaining. I
Yeah.
mean, people take movies so fucking seriously nowadays. It's yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I saw it too, and I think it's a solid popcorn movie.
yeah,
Like I had a good time watching it.
yeah, and it's the sixth fucking movie in the franchise.
Yeah.
So I mean, sure there were some nostalgia wanking in there with the old characters, Alan Grant, Ellen Sadler, and Ian Malcolm. They return, but they really don't have anything to do in the movie. Really,
Yeah.
it feels like they just wanted to show those characters in there to make a
To remind
connection to
you.
the to make a connection to the original movie. I didn't
I
mind
feel
it,
no.
but it if like I said, it felt a little bit like nostalgia wanking.
Well, didn't they do
Yeah.
that in Fallen Kingdom as well? In the very start, they had Malcolm interviewing at an interview or something, talking about the fact that the island was dying and how that was just the way it was supposed to be and leave the dinosaurs to their fate.
Yes, I think he appears at the very end as well when all of the dinosaurs has broken free.
Yeah. But I think that worked in the sense of like he is someone that has suffered from the damn dinosaur, so he has a say in like what happens to them in a
Yeah,
way.
but he is a theorist, a chaos theorist, as like he calls
As he is.
himself.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that he made a cameo in that movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was an alright popcorn movie, more or less.
Yeah, same here. I feel like that old, like bring the old characters back became mandatory after Ghostbusters and Star Wars, where Ghostbusters didn't do any of that and it totally flopped. But Star Wars did and it was a success. So now every like reboot has to do it, or
Yeah.
else it
Yeah.
will flop.
Kind of like because people really are suckers for the where are they now in the universe of films and whatnot. Even if you
Yeah.
just see them like be a farmer, people will eat that shit up like so that's where he went after he defeated the Dark Lord or whatever.
Yeah.
It's about nostalgia as well. I mean,
Yeah.
the people who watched the original Jurassic Park back in 1993 are, well, they're older than me. So,
Yeah. And
but yeah,
also I think it's an angle of like how would they react to what people in their similar situation are doing now. Like they have already done their shit in the series, like, and are doing their own separate thing in the world, and now we are following these other characters that are doing something similar, and you want to see how they react to how other people handled what they handled, in a way.
I think we should cover the Jurassic Park movies, actually. I
Maybe.
mean, I kind of guess they're more towards the action adventure genre, but they are basically monster movies. So,
Yeah, and considering they do have body counts,
yeah,
it can still like work because it has some horror element in them,
yeah.
especially for people scared of dinosaurs.
Yeah, but yeah. The next thing I've seen is the Uncharted movie, the movie adaptation of the Uncharted games, the Nathan Drake games. And I talked briefly to Ogge about it on Discord, and it. I won't go into any details about it since Ogge hasn't seen it yet, but it is a origin story, and if you play the games, you know that you get some sort of a origin story in, I think, two of the games, or at least flashbacks, which explains things that happens later in the games. But in the movie, they basically has rewritten the origin of Nathan Drake and everything, and it it feels like the movie is essentially Nathan Drake's first adventure, and I'm a diehard fan of the games, so as an action adventure movie, it worked. But since I've played all of the games multiple times and I'm a really sucker for those games, there were things that really bothered me with the film. For example, I think Mark Wahlberg was very much the wrong guy to play Sully, for example. When I see Mark Wahlberg, I think that's Mark Wahlberg. I don't think that's Sully. And his character is completely different from the games. So that was a letdown because Sully is my favorite character in that franchise.
Ah.
But like I said, as an action adventure movie, it's good. There should have been a little bit more of the bombastic action set pieces, like there is in the games. You know, those over the top segments with a lot of explosions and people flying all over the place and gunfights and everything. But like I said to my mom, because I watched it together with her, you can't take a story that is 8 till 14 hours long and smush it together into a 2-hour movie. You can't do that. So some of the stuff that happens in the movie feels a little bit rushed as well.
Yeah.
So
And you especially can't do it without making the story more hollow, because you miss key details.
yeah, I actually think that Uncharted would have worked better as a TV series. So you could do a story for about 10 hours or something.
Yeah.
Like I said, overall it's a good action adventure movie. As an Uncharted movie, I would say that it's a bit lackluster, but I mean, there's a hell of a lot worse movie adaptations of games out there. Believe me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There are
But yeah,
a lot.
yeah. But yeah, I would give it a thumbs up. Anyway, so I mean, if you don't have any connections to the games, you won't even notice the things that I noticed. So it's sort of like the Mortal Kombat reboot from last year, if you know what I mean, okay?
Yeah, I know.
So
Yeah. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm pretty skeptical about it.
Mm.
I don't think I'm gonna like it.
Yeah,
But I'm gonna see it anyway.
yeah,
I can't say a whole lot about it because I haven't seen it, so
yeah.
That is fair.
I'm gonna watch it first and then form my opinion later.
Mm.
Yeah, makes sense.
On a later episode.
Yeah.
The next thing and the last thing I've been watching is The Walking Dead. I'm on season 9 now. I think I'm 3 episodes in or something. 4 perhaps. I personally think that they could have ended the series after season 8 because of how everything ends. But like we mentioned about 400 times before, there will be 11. I think the last season is running now on TV in the States. So I guess there were more to tell in the story. So I don't know. I remember season 9 to be a bit slow during the first half, and things start to pick up in the second half. So, but yeah, that's everything I've watched, I think.
Yeah, if you realize something later, you can always mention in the next episode.
Mm.
But for me, I haven't really watched any movies. Surprise, surprise. But I have started listening to a book from a book series, Vampire Hunter D. That it has, I think, 2 movie adaptations,
Yes.
or rather,
Yes.
movies that are inspired by the books, rather, because they're not like 100% affiliated.
Is
with
it
one another.
Vampire Hunter D? Isn't that an anime or manga or something? But I remember I have seen both of the movies like 10
It's a
plus
novel,
years ago.
actually.
It is?
They're novel books, and then I think they started as novel books, then got turned into a manga, and then got turned into anime movies.
Yeah. I know I've seen both of the movies, but it's been over 10 years, so
Yeah, and I think the mangas are more truthful to the books, while the movies are more inspired by the movies, or by the novels.
yeah.
And they're pretty solid, actually. A very interesting, like, post-apocalyptic future with both like Middle Ages, future technology, and vampires and demons, basically.
Mm.
It's a very interesting mix, but it works because of how, like, wait a second, how is that works? The book will tell you right after you start wondering. And yeah, it's very interesting. And the book is also with pictures in some scenes, such as the scene where a horse gets its legs cut off. You get to see that in picture form,
Okay.
which is lovely.
How many parts are there in the series?
I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's either 2 or 3 books. I may be wrong, but so far I only have 2, so there may be 3 actually.
Okay.
And they're worth a read, I would say, if one is interested in both vampires and like post-apocalyptic worlds with fantasy in them.
That sounds like an interesting combination, actually.
Yeah, because basically the timeline of humanity is nuclear war, we go underground, we lose a fuck ton of like our progress, so we have no longer technology. Vampire comes, they remember everything, they save humanity and enslave us, and we go to the space again, even further than we did before. And then the humans fuck it up again by starting to rebel, and now we've forgotten basically everything that we did, and we can basically not use the technological things that was made, we almost got back to square one.
Wow,
Yay!
slow clap for humanity.
Yeah, basically. So there is a capital that has like these wonderful and like wondrous technological advancements, but humanity doesn't know jack shit about it or how to use it. But they still have things that humanity doesn't have today, so like it's a mix of both futuristic things but also non-futuristic things. And vampires just like the gothic like buildings, so they have those with like laser weapons and whatnot and robots, which is an interesting mix.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. It's a recommended read. I haven't read it, like, I haven't finished the first book, but I'm very close to it, and so far it is very interesting.
Sounds good.
It does.
It's kind of sad that I don't really have the time to sit down and read anymore, but because I got like 30 books to to read at the moment, and I don't really have the time to do that, unfortunately.
The book is on Audible if you can listen to books, because I do while I work.
Yeah, I listen to podcasts all the time when I work, so I might give that a try.
Yeah. Oggy, have you seen anything lately?
Actually, no. I've only seen that Jurassic Park movie. That's all I've seen.
Well, it's still more than me.
Well, yeah. It's one more.
It's
By the-
it's
by-
not a
by the-
high bar to reach, but still.
By the way, Ogge, where the fuck were you on the Nightmare City episode? I needed your backup.
Oh man.
It was me against Blue and Zombie for like 45 minutes, just throwing shit at each other.
Well, it was
I guess
more
you-
just you and Blue throwing shit at each other. I was just there on the sidelines supporting Blue.
Yeah, well, you threw shit at me as well. So
Well, that is true. I'm not gonna say I didn't do that.
I guess you didn't agree on the movie.
no, I love Nightmare City. If anyone wanna listen to that train wreck of an episode, go back and listen to it. While Blue and the zombie basically took a massive dump all over it.
Yeah.
I guess I'm somewhere in the middle. I don't think it's a good movie, but it's a very entertaining one.
Oh, you've seen it?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it was really entertaining, but I can't say it's like a good movie.
No.
But it's like it's
Night-
trash fun.
Yeah, Nightmare City isn't a good movie. I've never said that Nightmare City is a good movie. But it's an entertaining one.
Exactly.
Because of how fucking stupid it is.
Yeah, it is. It's that exploitation fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give it I'll give it a thumbs up for what it is.
Yeah. It's a cult
Well,
class. It's a cult classic for a reason. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
Well, it simply isn't what I would call a fun movie, but I'm not gonna start another war about this. I've already had 45 minutes of a war on this movie, and I'm not gonna start it again.
Oh fuck you! This is payback.
Well, there was nothing about the movie that I found entertaining. Biting me.
Oh, zombie, you just wait until I pick pieces.
No.
That pieces makes Nightmare City look like fucking Schindler's List.
Well, shit then.
You should also be glad we don't do action movies. Because I have I have a lot of trash action movies.
Yeah.
Oh, please don't. No, not action movies, please. I can actually enjoy horror movies, but action movies are they work, but at the same time, So please no, don't threaten me with a bad time.
I will unload the Indian B action movies.
Oh,
No,
God.
what have I done to deserve this? Well, anyway,
Yeah, should we roll the trailer for Tusk?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah. Let's do it.
yeah.
Go.
Always do sober what you do drunk. That'll teach you to keep your mouth shut.
Hemingway said that.
Yes, he did. And he said it to me.
I don't want you to go to Canada tomorrow.
It's for the podcast. It's what I do. I travel around and I interview weird or interesting people.
So look out, you crazy Canucks! Wandering Wallace takes a raunchy road trip up to the Great White North.
Hello. I'm an old man who has enjoyed a long and storied life at sea. And after eons of oceanic adventure, I know I do not wish to spend my remaining years alone when I have such stories to share.
How far is Bifrost from here?
It's about 2 hours from here.
It's about 2 hours away.
I hate American guys.
Good evening.
It's nice to meet you.
Could I interest you in some tea?
So what happened after the boat sank?
I was alone, and then something very swift and frightening moved by me.
A walrus saved your life?
The walrus is far more evolved than any man I've heard of. Present company included.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Would you? Would you?
There. It'll be all right, Mr. Tusk.
He hasn't called me in 3 days. I'm worried.
Why are you doing this?
Are you really mourning your humanity? I don't understand. Who in the hell would want to be human?
I'm so scared. This guy wants to turn me into an animal or something. I don't want to die in Canada.
So, the Tusk is about a podcaster who travels to Canada to interview a reclusive. So, someone who's lived quite the life, which will make a story, but he gets a lot more than he bargained for. Dum dum dum.
Well, he's gonna interview some kid that cut off his own leg in a video that got viral. But when he arrives at this guy's home, he
had already committed suicide.
Yeah, this kid has committed suicide.
And
Yeah.
the first time I saw it, like, I didn't register that movie or clip was supposed to be like real in the movie, and so it was like, so there you're just watching like one of those fake shit posts, and they were talking about it like it was real, and I was like, wait, really? With that effect of the cutting of the leg, like,
Yeah,
really?
I didn't catch that either. The first time I watched it, I was like, wait, what?
Mm-hmm. Because it legit looks like something you could find on YouTube where someone fakes like cutting their leg off for like shits and giggles with that like effect, like package deal that you could get with things.
Yeah. I like how there's actually quite a lot of podcasts that does stuff like that. Like they find someone who does something stupid on the internet and they make a whole episode where they talk shit of him.
Yeah, that part is not what is unrealistic about the whole thing. Like, that is very, very believable. And the fact that people watch that is also very believable.
And after that, the movie stops being believable at all.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, the whole fucking movie basically derails after he has arrived to this old guy's house.
Yeah. And like something that I noted was that the movie felt very short, but that also feels
It did?
it felt that way because it had few scenes and every scene was so fucking long. So like it felt long but at the same time short because other movies has like very short scenes but at the very same time long or like not long but very many of them. So you like switch scenes or stuff like that. But this movie had a lot of scenes that just kept going and going instead. Like dragged on unnecessarily long. Because it could have done them like shorter and still gotten the point across and do something else in another scene.
Yeah. Sort of like the humor in this film.
Yeah.
I personally just felt like the comedy aspect of the film didn't work whatsoever.
Oh no,
Same here.
It did
I
not
agree.
at all. And I feel like the longest scenes in the movie, I think at least one of them was supposed to be the funny part, where like the first long scene was when the guy, I don't remember his name, met
Wallace.
the old Wallace met Howard for the first time, and they were like, he was drinking the tea, and like that scene felt like it went on forever. And then the next was that was also notably long, where when that crime inspector met Howard.
Oh
for
god,
the first scene.
Yeah.
And I think that one was supposed to be funny.
Yeah, that fucking
it's-
that fucking flashback scene was so unnecessary. They
And so
could
bad.
have they could have summed that flashback scene up in 20 seconds.
Yeah, he either could have just told them, or they could have showed it like very fast. Where like, hey, I'm looking for this dude, and he's like, oh, heard it or no. And
Yeah, that whole
was that.
scene was like 10 minutes long and it has no purpose whatsoever.
Yeah.
Even that private inspector doesn't even have any purpose of the movie. They could just skip him altogether.
Well,
Yeah.
he's the investigator. That's Johnny Depp, by the way. He's essentially an exposition dump.
It was who now?
Johnny Depp.
I did not see that.
Oh.
No, you can't really recognize him, but that is Johnny Depp.
I didn't recognize him with all that shitty acting.
Well, the makeup helped, I kind of guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It really did.
But that character is essentially an exposition dump, both for the characters, Wallace's girlfriend and his best friend, and
Yeah.
for the viewers to get some background to what's going on in the film.
Yeah, I just felt like they easily could have done that in a very different way.
They could
like
have
without him.
They could have cut down that scene with a couple of minutes at least.
Yeah, they could have just done that scene in like the police apartment where like, yes, we have been tracking this guy down. Your boyfriend is a lost case. Blah 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 blah. Exposition. And then they could have been like, well, shit. Now we gotta find him even faster. And like
The
figured
whole
out shit anyway.
The whole movie basically just stops in its tracks when that scene comes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it got some momentum up until that part, and then it just stops.
Yeah, I actually liked the movie up until about the halfway mark which is around when that detective comes in,
Yeah.
and then it just stops being. Yeah, it just becomes boring, and that's also when they start turning up the humor, which doesn't even belong in the movie.
Yeah, like it was so out of left field.
Yeah.
Like it went so slow, and then the ending just appeared.
I think the horror in the movie worked actually really well.
Yeah.
I mean, even though the whole idea behind the movie is completely fucking bonkers and ridiculous, but the scenes when Wallace has essentially been turned into a walrus is really fucking uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah.
And I mean, if the movie had been a straight-faced horror movie, a body horror movie, I think it would have worked a lot better. But when they, force this unfunny fucking Family Guy type of humor into it, where they make a joke and it drags on and on and on and on for minutes. I mean, I just fucking hate it.
Like they could have dedicated that time to more of the body horror and
Yeah.
all of that. And yeah. But also, like, jumping from scene to scene here, the fact that they just left him and tried nothing to help him towards the end, and just like, well, you're fucked. Now you
Well-
gotta live as you do.
Well, I think Howard mentions it just before he gets killed or something, that once you become a real walrus, you can't turn back or something like that. And
Yeah, but
when Wallace kills Howard, he has become a, in quotations, real walrus.
Yeah, but the fact that like his skin was all like jumbled up and stitched together real bad, the fact that they couldn't even try to help him with that, because that must have been like suffering, and it looks like it hadn't healed like whatsoever.
I can see where you're coming from, but I actually really like the ending, because it's basically pitch black dark, and
Yeah.
it is at the same time really sad, because in one moment at the very end you can still there is still some humanity left in Wallace.
Yeah.
You can tell that through his eyes.
Like I'm not mad at the ending that it went the way it went, because like yeah, it works. It's a dark ending, but the fact that like it felt like he was suffering throughout the whole movie, and they tried nothing to like alleviate that at all, is the thing. But it's not as big of a bother as I'm making out to be. It's just that is the one thing that like stuck with me, because I don't know, it's just medical stuff.
I think it's kind of like a Tales of the Crypt ending, because he
Yeah.
spent his whole life running a podcast making fun of people.
He-
And in the end, he's, someone people make fun of.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
That's like
The character Wallace is full of himself, and he's an straight up fucking asshole. So I wouldn't say that he gets what he deserves. I mean, I don't think anyone deserves to,
No.
be transferred into a fucking walrus. But
No, that's yeah.
that's a little bit overboard. But I mean, like you said, Ogge, he is basically a Tales from the Crypt character that gets his comeuppance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's usually what the Tales of the Crypt is about. It's usually someone who's an asshole, and then he gets, he gets his just desserts.
Yeah.
Tenfold.
Karma bites them in the ass at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is kind of a story like that, but a lot more drawn out.
Yeah,
lot more.
the ending works. It's just, yeah, it's really nothing. But at the same time, the ending was very short, as well. And I felt like it came kind of out of nowhere. Like it's building up, it's building up. Well, now we have a walrus fight. Okay, how long is that gonna last? We get like 2-3 short scenes because they finally are somehow short now, with a few seconds, and suddenly it's over. Like, it's not that I wanted to see it longer, but it felt like, considering they have shown us so many other scenes with him in this uncomfortable state, that they shortened the climax a lot.
Yeah, well, the movie didn't need to be 1 hour and 40 minutes.
Oh no,
They
for
could
sure.
have they could have cut down at least 15 minutes. At least.
Yeah, and like 10 of those minutes could have gone away from that fucking scene. Like,
Yeah, also the walrus fight was a bit too over the top, I think. Like, he
yeah.
didn't have to dress out like a walrus himself. He could just,
Well,
fighting.
I didn't mind that either because Michael Park's character Howard is a fucking lunatic.
Yeah.
And I mean, he does a really good job as. Michael Parks did a really good job as Howard because from the first moment you see him, you can tell that is one scary motherfucker. And there's something really, really, really wrong with him.
Yeah.
So I mean, it makes sense that he would dress up as a walrus because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
If you
Just like how,
if you know what I mean.
yeah, just like
Yeah.
how he insists on having an excuse for what he does, like with the spider, even though he fully knows that his victim is aware what is going on, or like partly aware of what is going on, but keep insisting on like, oh no, it's a brown recluse. Like, yeah, he's one unhinged dude.
Yeah, and didn't they say like that he had murdered like 24 people? No, 23
Yeah.
people. They just found the bodies after his victims.
Yeah, because some of the walrus bodies apparently washed up from the drains or wherever.
Yeah.
Considering some of them were still at the bottom of the tank. So, like, there could have still been more people that he had killed, considering not everybody was found.
Mm.
Yeah. Overall, I think this movie reminded me a lot of The Human Centipede. But
Yes.
But I think The Human Centipede is actually, it's way better, I think.
I fucking hate the Human Centipede, and I hate part 2 as well. I haven't seen the third one.
I think...
But the Human Centipede is a serious movie. There's no laughs, there's no jokes, there's no...
I think the thing that makes them similar is just the body modification of the human body, and twisting it and contorting it into something that is not supposed to look like, and it's a body horror in that case, because they do it in a medical setting with some kind of person doing a medical procedure of some kind.
Yes. But yeah, this movie reminded me of that one as well, Ogge.
Yeah.
But I actually think this movie is better than The Human Centipede. From what I remember, I haven't seen that movie for years. But from what I remember, I was really fucking bored by The Human Centipede. The second one is a bit more interesting because it's batshit insane, but it's still a piece of shit.
Yeah. I remember I liked the first one. I watched the second one. It wasn't as good because it didn't have like it wasn't the same thing without that mad scientist in the first one. He was the one who made the movie.
Yeah,
And
instead you're stuck with that greasy, ugly-looking dude.
That's a
Yeah.
kind of like a wannabe of the first guy.
Well, he's basically fanatic about the movie.
A dedicated fan.
Yeah, very over dedicated fan. So he wants to build his own human centipede.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we should actually pick those movies at some point. It would be an interesting discussion, I think.
But not in the near
Yeah, we should.
future.
On the next episode of Near Dark Podcast, the human centipede. First
No, thank
sequence.
I don't know what it is, but I find like these types of like body horror and body modification so disturbing.
Yeah. It's very
It creeps me
unsettling.
out. Yeah.
Have you seen Society, Ogge? From 1989, I think.
No, I haven't.
You should check that one out.
Society.
Society is the title.
Okay.
I haven't seen it for 15 years or something, but it's kind of insane. And it is body horror.
But yeah, anything else
Dear God.
anyone want to talk about in the movie? The start works. It's a bit long in certain parts, like Wallace meeting Howard. But other than that, it picks up very good.
Yeah. Like I'm not really sure how to rate the movie.
Oh, I don't either.
I think it's a bit below average because the humor kind of fucked the whole thing up. And there's so much unnecessary scenes, especially in the second half and towards the mid.
Yeah. And like,
So,
I think the build up works better than the second half of the film.
yeah.
yeah. But because like, when he falls unconscious, and before you find him in his wheelchair, you suddenly get the flash of his girlfriend crying about him being a fucking cheater and whatnot, and her talking to this unseen dude like, oh, I need you in my life, he's a fucking cheater and a scumbag, and like,
Yeah, well, that unseen dude, that's his best friend.
I know, and we see that later because it's that scene is related to another scene, which is why it's weird that they cut it up the way they did it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they could have done another scene in between there, or I think that was the scene that happened when he was unconscious, that or when he was with Allie talking about him not going. That could have been a scene also. But yeah, some scenes just feels like it comes out of nowhere to be like, just to be like a scene before something dramatic happens to like keep you waiting on said dramatic thing.
I think those scenes are meant to give the characters more depth.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a movie about a guy turning another guy into a walrus. How much depth do you need in the characters?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So I mean, it's not a Oscar worthy movie.
Yeah, and
from,
like,
from the very start. So
yeah, but at the same time, it's very unfortunate that like only the first half worked, and the second half suffered, while when they tried to incorporate ha ha funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm with Augie on that one.
No, I agree with you guys. If the movie had been a straight-faced horror movie, perhaps with a little bit of dark humor, I think it would have worked better.
Like,
If it didn't have all of these haha aren't we fucking funny kind of jokes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like-
it would have worked better.
still a silly premise, but it would have still like been a not necessarily a bad movie, but like yeah, it works for the premise, and it would have been executed well for the silliness of said premise.
Well,
Yeah, I would probably recommend it if they would have fixed that.
Yeah, it can.
As of now, I wouldn't really recommend this to anyone.
No, it shot itself in the foot,
yeah,
which is quite unfortunate.
Yeah, I feel like the Human Centipede does this way better.
because it's a straight-faced horror movie.
Yeah, it does what it sets out to do. It
Yeah.
doesn't like lose track or anything.
Yeah, it doesn't try to joke and be silly, even though the concept of the film is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
As we have mentioned earlier, silly concepts does work if you take the silly concepts serious to some degree. Like, you don't need to take it 100% serious, because then the silliness is ramped up because of how serious you take it. But if you at least take it as serious as the first half of this movie did, it would have worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
It also makes the concept of the Human Centipede a lot more believable.
yeah,
While this movie isn't believable at all.
no. The second you see him as a walrus, it's like, yeah, no. It's uncomfortable as hell, and it works, sure, but believable, no.
I don't think that
Yeah, then-
believability is important in body horror movies, really.
Not really.
Yeah.
They're meant to be disturbing and uncomfortable.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
Yeah. Like that whole the walrus that it got turned into, that reminds me of the ending of the book I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream.
I know the title, but I haven't read it.
I feel like
It's a
some
pretty
things that
It's a pretty brutal short story. Like,
yeah.
you can read it. It's about 30 minutes long. You can find it on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
It's an audiobook.
Yeah.
But basically, it's about this supercomputer that controls the world, and there's only like 4 people left. And this computer hates humans, so he spends the computer spends its own life torturing those people.
Oh, I think I've heard about that before.
Yeah,
I'm gonna check that out, actually.
yeah, and it's like the reason it's so powerful is because it's like all of the computers in America, China, and Russia, and all those superpowers they found a way to merge together, and that's how they become so powerful.
Ah, shit.
And yeah, and they basically wiped humanity out except 4 people who they just torture.
That's some Skynet shit right there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's Skynet on steroids.
What was the title of it again?
I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream.
Yeah, I do believe that I have like heard about this one.
Yeah, they even made a video game about it in the 90s.
Oh.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay, I must have heard about the game then.
Yeah, it's a point and click adventure.
Yeah.
I won't spoil it, but there's a part of it which is very similar of Tusk.
Okay.
Mm.
Cool, cool. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
Well, the only thing I can come up with is that while it doesn't necessarily need to be realistic to be like effective and scary and horrifying and disturbing, some things are disturbing just because it's possible that it could happen, I would say, and that is why it's effective. While other things like Tusk is effective because of how like just disturbing it is, although it's not realistic. And I think the Centipede is in a similar position, where it's like it's not necessarily like it would happen, but it's very disturbing to imagine it happening. While like
Yeah, and movies like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre could have happened.
and that is why it's disturbing in that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
And like
It
movies
it probably wouldn't happen now, today, but 50, 60 years ago, it
yeah,
could have happened.
and it can happen in bumfuck of nowhere
Yeah.
in some place. And also like movies about like people torturing someone, like capturing and simply torturing them. That is also something that can happen, and that is disturbing because of like the realism. While others are like, yeah, this is just scary. Just the idea of it is scary.
Yeah, like French movie Frontiers.
I haven't seen that for 10 years.
Yeah, same here.
I have seen it, but I can't remember anything from it.
Yeah, like zombie movies. It's not gonna happen. It's extremely unlikely. But
You sure about that?
But the concept of it is very like unsettling.
It's been a while since we talked about a zombie movie, right? Well,
Yeah.
besides Nightmare City, which isn't really a zombie movie, but you know.
Yeah, except Nightmare City, I can't really think of any real zombie. The Night of the Comet is the only one that comes to mind.
And that wasn't really a zombie movie either. It was some
No,
mashup between different
like
styles.
the closest zombie movies we have done has been zombie-ish movies.
We have done Day of the Dead Bloodline, which was Ogge's pick.
Yeah, and
like
I think
3 years ago.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
like either the top 10 or the top 20 movies. So it was very long ago.
Oh yeah, we have done Wreck as well.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
that one we have done. And that one was
Which, to be fair, it's also not a zombie movie. It's a demon.
yeah, it's ish zombie.
Yeah,
movie.
well, if you
Yeah.
take the sequels into consideration, it's not a zombie movie.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it has very little like zombie stuff to do with it. It
Yeah,
derives its horror
it's-
from other aspects.
Yeah, it's more like the 28 days and 28 weeks later type of
Yeah.
infected people running amok.
Yeah, and I think even those movies have more zombie people in them than Rick, if you can even call them that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a hot minute with a legit like zombie movie with a zombie theme.
Well, then I know what I'm gonna pick when it's my pick next time.
Yeah.
And by the way, screw you, Augie, for picking this movie. It was very disturbing, and that's the first thing you can combat with. Screw you. How dare you?
Did you know what the movie was about? By the way, Zombie. I knew what it was about, but
I hadn't, but I had seen like a picture or two when I looked up the movie because I wanted to see like, like what's it about? And then I accidentally got an images and I was like, well, fuck me sideways.
Somebody was like, oh god, why?
Kinda. Like the second I saw the pictures, I was dedicated that I needed to remember to curse you out because fuck you.
Okay.
Explain more where that came from.
Oh god. Is this gonna be your theme now? Disappear for a few episodes and then come back and just traumatize us.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's traumatization hour with Ogge.
August next pick will be a Serbian film.
Oh god. Hopefully I'm still a bit desensitized about it, considering I have seen it at least once. Still extremely disturbing, but...
Well, that movie will be up on the shopping block at some point, I can assure you that.
Well then, consider me dead.
It's not that bad.
I know, but still. The
It's
concept
pretty
of it.
fucking bad.
Like, just the things that they don't show but imply is bad enough. With the things they actually do show is... no thank you. Like, I can watch a lot of different movies. But no thank you.
Yeah, I think that is the most disturbing movie I've seen that I can think of.
I think you can either watch it one time or none and be a happier person if you've never seen it.
Well, I've seen it 6 or 7 times, so what does that say about me?
Well, it says a lot about you, my friend, I can tell you that much. Good lord, are you human?
Josef doesn't fuck around.
No. No, well, that's a discussion for another episode, but I think a Serbian film is a genuinely good movie. It's dark as hell, and like you guys already said, it is disturbing, but it fits the movie.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be dark, dank, and you're supposed to feel this hopelessness.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to Tusk. You said you had a problem to rate this movie, Ogge.
Yeah, I think my rating is at around 4 or something. It's below average because because of all the problems with the movie.
Yeah.
So I would go with 4.
Okay.
I probably wouldn't recommend this. Like there's way better stuff you can find in the same genre.
Zombie, your rating?
I think I had a similar problem, like, how do you rate this movie with how, like, jumbled it was in its performance? But I would give it a strong 3.5.
Ooh, lower than Ogge. Well, I will be on top as usual, I kind of guess. On a good day, I would give this movie a weak 6 out of 10. On a bad day, I would probably give it a weak 5 out of 10. So, I will give it a 5.5 out of 10.
Ooh. That's a high rating.
I mean, it has its fair share of problems, and when they shit the bed in a movie, but when everything comes together and everything works, I think it works really well. But if the movie had been a straightforward, no bullshit body horror movie, I would have probably given it a 8 or perhaps a 9 out of 10.
I think what would have given it like a higher rating for me is if it like dragged out the transformation from human to walrus more than it did.
Yeah.
Because like one scene he has no legs, and then you're shown him like being sewn up, and then he goes straight to being a walrus, and you don't see him react at all to like this sewing up and whatnot. And
Yeah, it would have helped the movie if there was a progress.
Step-by-step progress.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, oh, for you to become a full walrus, some of the wounds need to heal and whatnot. And you could have made the search for him longer. That at least the character, the search for him, like, oh, he's been missing for weeks. And you see him slowly and surely, like, and also they could have like played in with the slow transformation body wise. They could have had Howard try and psych him more into becoming a walrus that way as well, rather than him just psyching him up once he has been transformed.
Yeah.
I actually really liked the dinner scene.
Yeah.
And that's mostly because of Michael Park's performance there, because he goes basically batshit insane in that scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I would have given it a higher rating if they cut out the humor that it did, and if they were gonna keep it like 1 hour and 40 minutes, that they dragged out the transformation of it instead.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree.
Because then you could have gotten a bit more of that good body horror from it.
Yeah, I agree.
Because you miss a lot of the steps in the transformation, I feel.
Yeah, it's one scene and then he's turned into a walrus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, to some degree it felt very unnecessary for the guy to take one leg in the beginning, considering he was gonna take both of them in the end either way. So he could have just taken both of them from the get-go.
Yeah, but then he couldn't blame...
The weakest excuse ever.
Yeah, well, you have to keep in mind that he's basically a loon.
Yeah. Yeah.
So...
I feel like you could have still done it, because he knows it's a weak argument, and considering Wallace has one leg, he has the upper hand and can just say whatever as an excuse. And I feel like it would still be the same concept if
True.
he had taken both legs, because then he would even have more of an upper hand and be like, oh no, there was several spiders, or it went for both of the legs, or it spread, or something. But yeah. But do we have any background on the movie?
Of course we do.
As always.
Mm-hmm. Working hard for you boys. And Blue. Alright. A little bit of background for Tusk. Where the hell is my mouse cursor? There it is. The budget was $3 million, and the box office was about $1.9 million, so it bombed at the box office. Tusk had its world premiere on September 6th, 2014 at the 2014 Toronto International Film Festival, where it was screened as part of Midnight Madness. It was named the first runner-up to the Midnight Madness People's Choice Award. And it was screened in Los Angeles at the Vista Theater on September 16th, 2014, before its wide theatrical release on September 19th the same year. Tusk is the first film in Kevin Smith's True North trilogy. And the movie is based on a story from his podcast Smodcast episode 259. The second movie is Yoga Hosers from 2016, which is based on a story from Smodcast episode 288. And the final movie will be Moose Jaws, which I have read will be like Jaws, but with a moose. Are you guys excited for that?
Fun fact,
Yeah.
mooses can dive up to 20 feet.
Actually, I think I've seen a movie like that once.
Yeah, well, it hasn't been released yet. It's on the pre-production, I think.
Okay.
Like, I want to see how they proceed with a movie called Moose Jaws. So in that way, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I got Yoga Hosers on my to-watch lists. I'm gonna check that one out, but I heard it's terrible. But I'm actually, like you, some intrigued about Moose Jaws. It will probably be a pile of shit, but you know.
Oh, for sure. I just want to see how they execute said pile of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Alright.
I want to see what their train of thought is with a title like Moose Jaws.
I've seen a horror movie once about, I think it was a deer, but a giant one, that would just chase people.
Hmm.
It was actually pretty good. Yeah, anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Continuing on.
Yeah.
Like I said, the idea for the film came during the recording of Smodcast 259, which was titled The Walrus and the Carpenter. In the episode, Smith, with his longtime friend and producer Scott Mosier, discussed an article featuring a Gumtree ad where a homeowner was offering a living situation free of charge if the lodger agrees to dress as a walrus. The discussion went on from there, resulting in almost an hour of the episode being spent on reconstructing and telling a hypothetical story based on the ad. Smith then told his Twitter followers to tweet #WalrusYes if they wanted to see their hypothetical turn into a film, or #WalrusNo if they did not. A vast majority of Smith's following agreed that the film should be made. The post on Gumtree was, in fact, a prank post by noted Brighton poet and prankster Chris Parkinson, who, upon hearing of the planned film, said he was a big fan of Smith and that he would love to be involved. And Smith eventually hired Parkinson as an associate producer on the film.
Neat.
Kevin Smith wrote the 80-page screenplay while waiting for Bob Weinstein's approval of his Clerks 3 submission package. And the movie was originally titled The Walrus and the Carpenter. But Smith changed it into a single word title, saying he, and I quote, knew what a movie about a walrus had to be called. The movie was originally going to be produced by Blumhouse, but due to Smith's expedited timeline for filming, the two amicably parted ways, and Tusk was eventually financed by Demarest Films. And Smith had planned on premiering the film at Sundance 2014, but this was later changed to allow more time for the score to be completed on the film. Smith was excited about making Tusk, saying, and I quote, "I wanted to write what I felt was the only wrong of Red State," which is a movie I got on my to-watch list. By scripting something with no religious or sexual politics that could grow up to be a weird little movie and not an indie film call to arms or a frustrated self-distribution manifesto. I just wanted to showcase Michael Parks in a fucked up story where he could recite some Lewis Carroll and The Rime of the Ancient Mariner to some poor motherfucker soon into a realistic walrus costume. Was that walrus costume realistic?
I don't know about that.
No comment.
I guess.
The role of Howard Ho was written for Michael Parks. And Kevin Smith has said that if Parks had turned down the role, the film would not have been made. Much like their first collaboration, Red State from 2011. And Michael Parks unfortunately passed away on May 9th, 2017 at the age of 77.
Oh.
And the last thing I got here is that Quentin Tarantino was offered the role of Guy Lapointe, the private investigator, but turned it down, saying he dug the script and, I quote, couldn't wait to watch Michael Parks let loose his internal kraken. Kevin Smith said in an interview that Tarantino thought he was being offered the role of Wallace, not Guy Lapointe. I don't know if I pronounced that right. And that's why he turned it down, which led to Johnny Depp being cast, and instead of his name, Johnny Depp is listed in the end credits as Guy Lapointe, his character. And that's everything I got on Tusk.
Neat.
Like always.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's time to wrap things up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yes, we are playing out with Fleetwood Mac, Tusk. And it's the 2018 remaster of that track. I think it's from the 70s, this song. So it's a fairly recent remaster of it.
Cool.
Well then, what is the next pick then?
It's
I
Blue's
think
pick.
Yeah.
And she told me what she was gonna pick.
Yeah, and as mentioned, like, she's not in the episode, and that is because she chose not to, because I think she simply doesn't agree with this movie.
She
In one way or another.
she can't stand this movie. I talked to her about it, and she told me why she didn't want to rewatch it. This movie really disturbed her, so she didn't want to put herself through it again.
Yeah, and that's understandable. And we don't force people to watch things if they don't want to.
I feel like such an asshole.
Well, you are, Ogge.
I know.
Well, I think it's fine. She wasn't forced to watch it, so
No,
we all just.
No, it's
Yeah,
fine.
we all pick
It's
movies.
fine. If someone doesn't want to join the episode, then they don't have to. By the way, weren't you on the Battle Royale episode, Ogge?
I were.
Yeah,
Yes.
that one was after the Leprechaun episode.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I was another one after that too.
But
Uh,
maybe.
Were you
Do
on
you
the
remember
Hush
the last?
episode?
Maybe. No.
No.
Oh, you watched Hush.
Hush, yeah.
I think it was just you and me on Hush.
No.
Was Angel on that as well?
Yeah, Blue, I think. Yeah, you.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Blue,
yeah, yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, Blue was on that episode as well.
Yeah.
That's a pretty all right. That's a pretty good movie, I think.
I can't
Yeah.
remember what we said about it.
I think
Yeah.
the consensus we come over, it was like, it was good, but it could have been better done with the concept.
Yeah.
That the concept was very good, and it was not a bad movie, but it could have been done better.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of what it just does what it's supposed to, no more, no less.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
But yeah, Blue's next pick will be Get Out.
Ooh. Interesting.
The Jordan Peele movie from 2017.
17. Yeah,
Yeah.
17.
I don't think I've
Well,
seen or heard about it.
I've heard a bit about it, that it's good, but I haven't actually heard what it's about.
I have seen it once, and well, I got a lot of stuff to say about it, but I'll save it. Save it for that episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So that's what's up next.
Well then, I think it is time to say goodbye to the good people.
Yeah. Goodbye, good people.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, good people. Thanks for listening. Hopefully we'll see you in another episode.